All right, I think I got this figured out now. Last time I tried this, it wasn't working. It kept giving me some weird issues, bugs wise. Anyway, though, I'm going to start to do maybe a live video once a week on something to do with fitness, nutrition. I've been off the radar for a while. I know a lot of you guys have, I've passed through the past years, I've gotten messages asking, am I still into fitness? Am I still doing this? Am I still doing that? And the question is, yes, I'm still into fitness. I am big into fitness. I've been training for this is my 12th year in November. But this past 3 months, I've actually tried something new, and I'm going to go into that today. The vertical diet. Stan Efferding out there, I'm sure many of you heard of him, the AKA strongest bodybuilder that ever once lived, created this diet called the vertical diet. It's based on, the simplicity of it is focused around sleep, a lot of red meat, rice, and a pretty intense training style too. The way I do the vertical diet is a lot different though, and I'm going to get into that here. I'm going to go through, I have that vertical diet actually on my computer screen over here. Yes, I did purchase the vertical diet from Stan, so I do support his vertical diet 100%. I've always been a fan of intermittent fasting, intermittent fasting, however you say it. I'm not a fan of eating I'm not a fan of eating every couple hours. The vertical diet's based around eating every couple hours. And for a guy like me, I like eating a big meal, then going a long time and not having to worry about eating for a while. So I modified the vertical diet to a way with fasting, just because it's easier for me. I like to get the majority of my work done while I'm in a fasted state. And I like to eat around my workout, so I have food to fuel my workout. And then I like to just go the most of the day without eating, just because it's easier for me. Now, I will say that for this through the past like 4 months and whatnot, I've been upping my calories consistently, and I am up to 3,200 calories a day, and that's the highest it's ever been for me. I've never surpassed 2,700. And I did it. I've done pretty much every diet plan you can think of. I've tried them all. I've tried the intermittent fasting, if it fits your macros, just anything you can think of. I've probably tried it in my lifetime. And I will say, I have never made as much progress as I have made in the past 3 months on this diet. And this is coming from somebody that's skeptical as hell. I research a lot of different diets. I help a ton of people out. And I'm very skeptical of when people say this diet and this diet. Stan Efferding is one I have looked up to for a long time. Stan Efferding, I have based my training around his style, and I've read his nutrition blogs through the years. And when I heard he was coming out with a diet that he's used with Phil Heath and Larry Wheels, the guy on Facebook and Instagram pressing just recently, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and it's starting to get around the rage now, but he was pressing 225 in each hand on a barbell lying on a bench, and that's a huge feat. Larry Wheels is one that's just a monster, but he's also done the vertical diet. So when I heard all these things about the vertical diet, all these myths, conspiracies, I was like, I'm going to check this out. I've always been a big fan of Stan's work, and he's never gypped people out of anything. He's real, just down to it, and tells people how it is. He's not a person that says this diet is going to do this and this for you. He only presents what works. So the past 3 months, I've went full in with the vertical diet, the cheapest way possible. I'm not going to buy steak for every meal, and sometimes ground beef is just in its entirety is too expensive too. So I've gone and used my method of the vertical diet, which is a little different, but I will get into that. Stan recommends, first thing is sleep. Sleep is huge on the vertical diet. He recommends people get 7 to 9 hours. So I've been shooting for 7 hours, and I've been getting that religiously every night. I go to bed, I get ready for bed at 11:45, and I'm in bed 12, and I wake up at 7 every single day. Weekends, weekdays, every single day, so it programs my mind. And once that's programmed your mind, you just naturally wake up at that time. The body's adaptable, and that's what I've learned. You can go 21 days, I think it is, and you can teach your body how to do something new. So if you're ever struggling with anything, give it 21 days of doing it every single day, and you will adapt to that process. So sleep, 7 hours to 7 to 9, he recommends. I'm going 7, and I've noticed great benefit with that. Before that, I was sleeping in a little longer. Some days I'd wake up a little earlier. But I found just consistency is over everything when it comes to sleep. Even if you're only getting 6 hours, stay with 6 hours, even on the weekends. You might think, well, I could make up for sleep. They've actually shown in studies you can't make up for sleep. You think you can wake up early during the week, and you can't. Now, another thing with sleep. Right now, there's a huge thing going on the internet about these 4 a.m. workouts, made famous by Mike O'Hearn, another guy I follow like crazy. Now, he's got this whole hashtag, 4 a.m., and he claims he wakes, and he probably does. I believe that he wakes up at 4 a.m. I have no doubt about that. But it's also getting in the media now that 4 a.m. is like magic. If you work up at 4 a.m. and you work out, that's like the magic pill to success. Because a lot of these entrepreneurs and everything are saying 4 a.m. and you get more done throughout the day. Stan's actually brought this up. Hello, Bonnie. Stan's actually brought this up, though, that sleep is the most important thing when it comes to getting results. And he's totally against these people waking up at 4 a.m. unless you can go to bed at 8 p.m., which who in their right mind is going to go to bed at 8 p.m.? I'm cooking dinner at 8 p.m. at night. So it's not a realistic. 1 second, guys. My computer fell asleep and I need this on here to remember what I'm talking about. All right. But who's going to go to bed at 8 p.m.? Nobody goes to bed at 8 p.m. That's not realistic for most people, especially if you have kids, if you have a family. I mean, most kids get done with what they're doing at 8 p.m. That doesn't make any sense. So Stan is also highly against trying to wake up at that time, because if you're waking up at that time and you're going to bed at, say, 11:30 or 12, you're only getting 4 hours of sleep. You're cutting yourself short on a huge percentage of the results you could be getting. 60% or something, he states, that is from sleep alone. That's alone, without diet, without training. Sleep. Andrew Harris, I go to bed at 10 and typically get up between 4 to 5:30. I get a ton done that early. See, some people can go to bed that early. I am literally finishing dinner at, usually I'm finishing dinner about 9 o'clock, and then I can't go to sleep after dinner. I only eat a couple times a day, so for me, my meals are huge. I'm taking in 3,200 calories right now. My meals are over 1,500 calories each, and I can't go to bed after eating that. So that might work great going to bed at 10. That's really early. I can't imagine going to bed that early. But if that works for you, awesome. So the next thing after sleep is covered, he goes into what some people think is a vitamin, but it's actually been proven, though, it's more of a hormone, the way it's acted on the body, and that is vitamin D3. Now, we all get vitamin D from the great sun, the great bright thing in the sky every day. The problem is very little of us, and this has been proven in multiple studies. People in Australia were studied and diagnosed with low vitamin D levels. People in Australia. And the normal levels, when you get them checked by a doctor, if they're above 30 to 40, they'll say that you're normal. Well, guess what? That's normal if you're a 50-year-old woman that's laying on a couch all day and doesn't exercise or anything. So our RDA is actually set on most vitamins as if you're a 50-year-old man or woman that's on the couch all day. That's the average. So any vitamin, you should really research how much you should actually take, especially if you're training in the gym. Vitamin D3 is one that's so underrated. He recommends 8 to 10,000 IU a day. Now, let me put that into perspective. On the bottle of vitamin D in a store, you can buy 1,000 IU, and on the bottle it says take 1 capsule a day. 1,000 IU. Think about that a second. These studies shown that in Australia, these people that are getting sun daily, all throughout their skin, are low in vitamin D on the advanced level. So they're normal in states of, like, if you were 50 years old and not exercising and whatnot, then yeah, 30 to 40, that's fine. But to get the actual benefit of vitamin D, it takes so much more, 8,000 to 10,000 IU a day. Now, I have been upping mine slowly over time, and I recommend most do that. Bonnie, I don't take vitamins. Some people, I mean, that's a personal thing. I recommend taking vitamins for most people. I'll get into what I take here in a little bit because what I take is everything I take is for a reason. But we're still on vitamin D. Give me time here. So vitamin D3, he recommends 8,000, 10,000 IU. I recommend upping that slowly. I started at only 2,000 IU, and it takes about a month for your body to recognize that new vitamin D. So if you're only taking 2,000 IU right now and that's new to you, do not up it for about a month because vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin, meaning that it's let through the bloodstream at a slow amount of time. On the other hand, vitamin B, for example, a water soluble vitamin, you take it and you immediately feel the effects within a half hour. Okay, because it's a water soluble. Fat soluble vitamin takes time to go into your system. So I recommend giving about a month, at least 3 weeks, to see if you notice a difference. I've been upping mine. I started at 2,000. I'm now up to 6,000 IU. And I'm feeling great. It's funny. Every month that I've upped my vitamin D 1,000 every month, I just feel more and more energetic, more energy. My skin gets clearer. I just in the gym I feel stronger. They actually showed that D3 is actually a hormone in the body. The body recognizes it as a hormone, and at high enough levels, it can actually relate to the benefit side of what people get when they take steroids. So higher testosterone, that has also been linked to vitamin D. Now you think, oh, I don't want to have the effects of steroids. It was proven only the good things of steroids, the muscle strength increase, higher metabolism, higher insulin sensitivity, all these good benefits, none of the bad benefits as long as your vitamin D doesn't go overload. But a lot of people would have to take a ridiculous amount. Some studies actually showed people were not overdosing on 20,000 IU a day. Now, I would not recommend that. I'm not even recommending people take 10,000 IU. I'm recommending people up their vitamin D from what they were taking before up until now. And see if that fits them better. See if they notice the benefits. It's going to take about 3 weeks for it to kick in. That's been a huge one, though, for me. I had noticed every month I added 1,000 IU. I'm up to 6,000 now. I have noticed strength increase. Insulin sensitivity is up like crazy. I'm taking in 350 grams of carbs a day on even my rest days. On my training days, they're closer to 400 now. And not just that, but like I said, my calories are around 3,200. So I'm taking in about 70 to 80 grams of fat. I'm taking in 250 to 275 grams of protein. And I feel excellent. I feel absolutely the best I've ever felt in my life. And I'm just saying vitamin D3 might have something to do with that. The next thing is sodium. So sodium is huge. Now, you talk to most people and they're going to say, sodium, yeah, you shouldn't probably eat more than 3,000 milligrams a day, something like that. I think the RDA is set at 2,250 milligrams a day. Now, get this. Stan's recommending people to eat 8,000 to 10,000 milligrams of sodium a day. Now, you're probably thinking, this guy's going to die of a heart attack. There's been some interesting studies done on sodium, and a lot of these make perfect sense even when you just think about it. So he actually looked into some Asian culture studies. Now, some of these Asian culture studies are really fascinating because they make sense. If, for example, Chinese food and Asian food, it's all super high in sodium. They eat so much sodium over there. They literally, Asian cultures meals usually are based around very little greens, lots of rice, and lots of meat and sodium, soy sauce. These life expectancies of these Asians are higher than than Americans. The normal Asian person lives to be about 95 years old. The normal American person lives to be about 80 years old on average. Now, sodium, I'm not saying has everything to do with that, but it's something we should look at too because their diets are loaded in it. A normal Asian person takes in about 8,500 milligrams of sodium a day. Okay? 8,500 compared to a lot of Americans now who are trying to eat so-called cleaner, which I hate the term cleaner. There's no such thing as bad foods and good foods. What happens is when you try to eat so-called cleaner, say if, for example, you were eating lunch meat on a sandwich for lunch, and you were eating a bag of chips, you were eating maybe a granola bar with your lunch when you take it to work, okay? Now all of a sudden you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna eat clean. I'm gonna take out this processed meat. I'm gonna take out this bag of chips, and I'm gonna take out this granola bar, and I'm gonna replace it with white rice, some ground beef, or even lean pork. Maybe throw some avocado in there, an egg. Now that sounds great. Sounds like a great substitution. But what happened with that? The lunch meat you were taking probably had about 500 milligrams of sodium per 2 ounces, which is usually what it has. So you're not getting that extra 500 per 2 ounces. Probably you were taking in 6 ounces of meat. So 500 times 6, you can see how much sodium it adds up there. Well, you substitute that with, like, say, lean pork, and you just sprinkle salt on it, saying, it's good, that's good. It takes 1/4 a teaspoon to equal 500 milligrams of sodium that you got from that lunch meat. So people get on these clean diets and wonder, I'm so tired all the time. This diet just sucks. I'm so hungry all the time. This diet just sucks. Sodium. It's the sodium that makes you feel good from these meals. Why is it when you eat clean for a whole week, and then on the weekend, say you eat a pizza or a cheeseburger, you go out with friends and pig out. Then when you come back to the gym that Monday, you feel like amazing. The pump is incredible. Your energy is skyrocketed. It's not because of all that extra carbs and fats. Now that's a part of it. The majority of that is from the sodium. I can guarantee it to you too. So sodium, like I said, Stan recommends 8,000 to 10,000 milligrams a day. That's a lot of sodium. I do not recommend just jumping your sodium up that high all of a sudden. Up it over time. Otherwise you're gonna probably be going to the bathroom a lot more. You're probably gonna have some headaches actually because your body's not used to it, and you're probably gonna be just peeing a lot. And not drinking enough water with that will also be a bad thing. I recommend right now track what you're eating a day for sodium, and just see. Most people are around, if you're eating a standard American diet, I'd say most people are probably around 5,000. Let's just round it. Most American diet people eat it. This is not talking about bodybuilders. Bodybuilders are probably the ones that are not focused on this new breakthrough with sodium, if you want to call it that, are probably only eating maybe 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams a day, and they think that's good. And they might be amazed if they up it. But the normal American diet, somebody who doesn't really exercise, is probably taking in about 5,000 milligrams of sodium a day on average. Now, if you are a so-called clean eater, whatever that is, I recommend adding just salt throughout the day. So what I do is I add in I buy Himalayan sea salt. It's rich in 74 different minerals, and its sodium level is, I think it's 580 milligrams, or no, 490 milligrams per 1/4 teaspoon. I also buy iodized table salt, and what I do is I mix them. So I have this tub, and I throw half Himalayan salt, half iodized salt, and I mix it up. That tub is what I carry with me in my bag. I have it with me pretty much all throughout the day. So when I fill up my water, I throw 1/4 a teaspoon in there. That gives me 500 milligrams of sodium with every 25-ounce bottle of water I take in. And I drink about 6 of those a day. On top of that, both my meals have about 4,000 milligrams of sodium in. Now, that's a lot of sodium, okay? I've worked up to that over time. I will say, once you get to a certain point and your sodium is up over 8,000, you're going to feel amazing. Some awesome benefits of adding sodium that you're going to realize happen at the gym. You're going to notice in your first working sets at the gym, your warm-up even, you're going to notice you just feel the blood rushing through your muscles. You literally feel more vascular and you look more vascular. People ask me, how do I get vascular? I say, take some salt before you go to the gym. Bring some salt with you when you go to the gym. I have salt in my water that I drink while training. It helps tremendously. That's something that will increase strength, and it increases the lasting of your pump too in the gym. Now the pump doesn't mean that much, but I'm gonna say though, when you have a pump in the gym, you naturally will have a better workout. Psychologically, You just will look better in the mirror and you'll just have a better training session. It might be a placebo or whatnot, but it works. Now, the sodium is not a placebo. I can guarantee you the sodium itself is not a placebo. You will feel so much better with adding sodium. I have so many people that I've recently got on higher sodium diets, and they feel incredible. The gains they're making are incredible. And also, something that's interesting is when you get into a high sodium diet and you've done it for a while, you're going to notice when you decide to travel or something and you forget to add in some of that extra sodium, even though on days you're not training, you're going to have a sort of a headache. You're going to feel sort of tired. I witnessed this just a couple days ago. When I wasn't paying attention to my sodium, I had gone away and I ate dinner and I didn't add enough sodium. I had this headache at night. I was like, what the hell? And I thought about it. It's like, my sodium is actually kind of low today. So I went in the kitchen, grabbed myself a pretty big, like almost a tablespoon, I think, put a bunch of salt in, downed it. 15 minutes later, I felt completely better. Headache gone, felt awesome, slept like a baby. Just from the sodium. So that's something you should look into. Sodium, highly recommend. All right, the next is water. Now, water. People think drink 8 glasses of water a day. Completely bullshit. Completely bullshit. Stan recommends drink when you're thirsty. Also, people say, when your pee is clear, you're good. You're healthy. Another bullshit remark. Truth is, when your pee is clear, it means you're not getting enough sodium, not enough electrolytes. Your pee should be a tint of yellow in there. Not full-on hardcore yellow, unless you just took a multivitamin, but it should be a somewhat yellowish color to it. And as long as you're getting that, the amount of water you drink depends on you. Drink when you're thirsty. For me, I do take in a lot of water, but I also take in a lot of salt. It just is natural. You take in more salt, you're going to take in more water naturally. You'll become more thirsty. That's natural regulation that your body is going to do for you. It's going to determine how much water you need. All right, the next thing is protein. So this is where it's different. Stan recommends protein about only 1 gram per pound of body weight. Now, I'm 165, 170. That's what I weigh, 165, 170 pounds. So he recommends about that much protein. I actually lean on the higher protein side. Like I said, I take in about 250 to 275 grams a day. And that's just dependent on the person. I have not found any bad things. I've only found good things from that. My recovery feels awesome. I feel like I get less sore from my training sessions. I just feel better overall. You're going to have to experiment with that. Start with 1 gram per pound of body weight and build it up. And that's what I recommend. Fats. Fats are good. Fats help lose fat, and cholesterol-based animal fats are not a bad thing. People say red meat is going to give you heart disease and whatnot. No, it's not. Fats are good. Stan recommends getting most of your fats from the meat itself, the red meat itself. I actually add some avocado in. I use some coconut oil. He also says that's fine. He says you can always use some coconut. Use some real butter, avocado, and also eggs. I eat 6 eggs a day, 3 with my lunch and 3 with my dinner. That's a good way to get in extra choline, extra vitamin D, and it's just an extra way to get more protein too. It's easy to get in more calories that way too. 1 egg has 70 calories. That's an easy way to up protein in a meal without getting a bunch of filler. Just crack a bunch of eggs in your stir fry. Easy way to get a lot of calories in. Red meat. I really didn't go over this, but Stan recommends red meat, and a lot of it. Red meat is rich in B vitamins, heme iron, zinc, magnesium, and creatine. All of those are great for recovery, for testosterone production, everything to build a good, strong athlete. I stand by that. I eat a lot of red meat. I am eating steak. I eat steak every night right now, and I have been for the last at least 2 months. And I feel awesome. I recommend steak. In the cuts you take too, you can use the cut of steak that best fits your goals. If you're trying to lean out, maybe you go with a leaner cut. If you're trying to bulk up, go with maybe a little fattier cut. It's extra calories, and a good fatty steak is always going to taste awesome. So, vegetable oils. Vegetable oils he is totally against. Anything with vegetable oils, eliminate. And I, for the most part, don't take any vegetable oils. He recommends using butter and coconut oil, and avocado, but stay away from vegetable oils. There's nothing but bad that comes from them. Carbs. So carbs are frowned upon on a lot of people, especially with the new. I think the new diet right now out there is the carnivore diet. Everybody's raising hype about the carnivore diet, the eat nothing but meat diet, and I bet you that's a great diet. Is it the most sustainable though? When you go out with friends or if you go to a party, is it most sustainable? I always ask, is a diet sustainable? Chances are, carnivore diet's not probably real sustainable. Sure, it might be easy for the time being, but you're gonna want something more than meat eventually. I can almost guarantee you that. So carbs, Stan recommends carbs a lot for a lot of people. He will take away carbs, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're diabetic, then he recommends more of a meat-based diet. But he still has things in there like a potato, fruit. He has recommended a lot of fruit for the sake of health. Vitamin C, potassium, that's another big one. Because if you're taking a lot of sodium, you need potassium to offset that, a little bit. But the ratio of sodium to potassium, I think it's like 10-3. So never taking more potassium than sodium. That's just, and also don't take a potassium supplement. I don't recommend that. Get your potassium from fruits. Fruits that I use high in potassium: bananas, avocado, and also take in a little bit of orange juice every day. That's 1 cup of orange juice has 496 milligrams, I think, of potassium. So potassium, and also potatoes. Potatoes are loaded with potassium. Sweet potatoes and white potatoes, both are fair game. Go for it. Now this is where it gets interesting. So once you have that basic necessities out of the way, he recommends like a potato a day, some carrots every day, spinach, maybe some bell peppers, stuff that's easy to digest, and he also recommends a few servings of fruit every day. Well, then what happens for those people that need more carbs? For instance, that if you only ate that would be about maybe 100, actually probably not even that, maybe not even 100 carbs. So what do you recommend? What does Stan recommend people get their carbs from? Then if they're trying to gain weight or up their calories, white rice. And white rice, because it is pretty much digestible by everybody on the planet. Brown rice, not so much. And also quinoa, that biggest famous new grain out there everybody talks about. Quinoa is also nowhere near as good as white rice. White rice, the reason it's so good is not because it's rich in nutrients. It has very little of anything. It's mainly a filler food. But the reason why is because you can eat a lot of it and it doesn't upset your stomach and it digests great. So I right now am taking in, let's see here. I'm taking in over 200 grams of white rice a day. Over that. And I use it as my filler calories when I need more carbs, and to load up on carbs before a workout and whatnot. White rice, because you can eat a cup of white rice and measured cooked, 1 cup is about 40-45 grams of carbs. It's easy to eat a cup of rice. Anybody can put a little salt on there, some soy sauce, take it in with some meat, and it's easy. That's an easy 40 to 45 grams of carbs you can get from just 1 cup. So if you need more, you just keep adding cups. And that's measured cooked. 1 cup dry is measured at 100 grams. And so 100 grams dry equals about 45 grams cooked. So white rice is what I recommend going on that. Thoughts on keto? Honestly, so keto I have no problem with. With that said, I recommend people, if they can, to use carbs. I recommend keto for diabetics. I recommend keto for people that are not very active. If you go to a gym, say only 3 days a week, keto would be great. If you do 3 total body workouts a week and you're not very active in life, a desk job, keto would be good if you can sustain it. I know plenty of people that I know on keto and that do that, and they love it. They have great results. They're able to maintain it. But I will say, if you're training more than 3 times a week and you just have a better metabolism too, like just go off yourself. I'm not going to recommend keto to a guy like myself that has a hard time putting on weight. I will always recommend carbs for us. But for somebody that's overweight, trying to lose weight, that doesn't have an active job, that only trains about 3 times a week, keto would be great. Make sure you do keto right, though. A lot of people only eat a ton of protein and don't really watch their fat. And what happens then is your body takes in more protein, and what happens if you take in enough protein, it creates glucogenesis in the body, and that is a carb. So your body actually, if you eat too much protein, will produce a carb from that. So if you're doing keto, you got to make sure to get most of that energy from fat. I don't even know a good recommendation of protein to fats for keto. You'll have to look that up, but make sure, though, you're getting enough fat on keto. I've done keto in the past, and I did it wrong a few times before I figured out how to do it right. And when I did it right, it took about 6 weeks for me to actually start producing ketones where my mind could think clear. I just didn't like it, though. The pumps in the gym were not as good. My strength wasn't as good. My recovery sucked. So, like I said, based upon yourself, if you are overweight, only train a few times a week, give it a go. You might love it. It might work perfect for you. So carbs, like I said, use them when you need them, and don't be afraid of them. They're good for the metabolism. Stan also recommends to throw in a few things every day, like a half a cup of orange juice, because of the fructose. Now, people think of fructose as bad. The liver loves fructose. So what Stan recommends is giving some orange juice throughout the day, like in doses of medicine, like 3-4 ounces a couple times a day. What that does is stimulate the liver. And by doing that, it raises your metabolism just a little bit. And for people that are trying to gain weight, it's excellent because it makes you hungrier. So it's easier to eat more food. And if you're trying to lose weight, he recommends eating half an orange a day. Let's see here. Caffeine. Now, Stan doesn't recommend coffee. I'm going to tell you right now, if you know me, I'm a coffee drinker. Nothing in this world would get me to give up coffee. So, with that said, I have not decreased my coffee consumption. I have not tried to even eliminate it. Might I feel better? Maybe. Is it worth it? I love my coffee, so no. You can try it. Try eliminating coffee if you want to. I love coffee. There's been too many studies to show that it protects against prostate cancer and other types of cancer in the body. So there's too many reasons, in my opinion, to keep in a couple cups a day. I don't say drink 10 or 12 cups a day, but you get what I'm saying. Keep it the level you want to take it in. I drink probably 2 of these things a day. 1 in the morning and then 1 before my workout. I used to take caffeine in my pre-workout. Now I just drink some coffee. And I'll get into what I take supplement-wise. Don't worry. But like I said, caffeine, he actually recommends for people that he does not recommend this for people that train at night. But actually caffeine, 100 milligrams, taken with a post-workout shake of dextrose, half dextrose, a quarter fructose, and a little bit of glucose with some sodium and some iodine, can actually help recovery. Now, that sounds weird, taking caffeine after your workout. I've never actually tried it because I train at night, so I don't want to be up. So I've never tried that. I can't speak on that. Let's see here. So he talks about HIIT cardio. I actually don't do any cardio, so I don't worry about that. 10-minute walks. This is a big one. Now, the 10-minute walks, you might have heard Mark Bell start to talk about this, and he's been promoting it for a long time. This came from Stan Efferding. And he recommends taking 3 10-minute walks every day. And 1 in the morning, 1 midday, and 1 at night. Preferably after a meal. Because what that does is when you take a 10-minute walk, preferably after a meal, it lowers your blood sugar, helps your body take in more nutrients, and it just helps stimulate your body it turns on a signal in your body to help it not store what you ate directly as fat. It's a little, for when you go on a walk after a meal, helps with digestion, helps insulin sensitivity, it helps lower that blood sugar. It's all good things. Also, 10-minute walk is nothing. How you can take a 10-minute walk and just get on. What I do is I just get on my phone. If I'm eating at the house here at night after I eat dinner, it might be cold outside. All I do is just get on my phone, scroll Facebook, and take laps around my house. It's an easy way to just take a 10-minute walk. It makes you feel awesome, too. Say you eat a big meal, take a 10-minute walk, you're going to feel great. A lot of people feel tired after a meal. take a walk. I guarantee you feel much better after a meal. So yeah, 3 10-minute walks a day. Let's see, hormones, we've talked about that. Supplements. So supplements. Stan doesn't recommend very many supplements. He recommends just a very few. I have a few that I take that I really like. I'm just going to say what I recommend, because what Stan recommends, he recommends basically a multivitamin just for general health, vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, similar to what I take. I just add a few extra things just because I've seen benefits from them. I take a multivitamin. I take vitamin D3. I take a B super complex. Stan also recommends that. And I take fish oil. He doesn't say anything about fish oil. I take it. I've always taken fish oil. I believe that there's more benefits than negatives about fish oil. There's some contradictory thoughts on that. I've always taken fish oil ever since I can remember ever reading about the supplement in college. Let's see, what else? I take in, so my pre-workout is super simple. My pre-workout, I throw a gram of sodium in, so that's 2 1/4 teaspoons of salt. I throw in 5 grams of creatine. I throw in 7 grams of BCAAs. Let's see, I throw in 2 grams of L-carnitine for focus, and I throw in 2 grams of citrulline malate. No, 4 grams of citrulline malate. That's it. Super simple. I make it myself, shake it up, I down it, I drink it, and it works great. The supplements are not magic. They supplement what you don't get from your diet, and they can, there's no need to buy all these expensive pre-workout powders, recovery powders. The basics work. In my opinion, if I could only pick a couple, I'd pick creatine and sodium. That's it. If I needed to live on the cheapest budget ever, sodium and creatine. I would just down some salt, down some creatine, and I'd be good. And drink my coffee, of course. And I'd be good. The other things just help a little bit. The citrulline malate helps extend pumps a little bit longer at the gym. Helps you. There's been some studies linking it to better strength increase. I don't know if I necessarily agree with all that, but I've taken it and I noticed a little bit of a benefit, enough to buy it. And L-carnitine is for focus mainly. But like I said, if I was forced to, sodium, creatine, super cheap. You can buy 500 grams of creatine for, I think, like $10. And sodium, you just buy at the store. Salt, table salt. Best pre-workout ever. And drink some coffee along with it. You'll feel amazing. Have an awesome pump. Have an awesome workout. I guarantee it. Bone broth or chicken stock. So Stan recommends with every meal drinking like a half a cup to a cup of chicken stock or bone broth with your meal. It has collagen in it. It has a little bit extra protein, has some celery chopped up in it. It's mainly for the fact it improves digestion. And that's what you'll notice. When you drink chicken stock with your meals, you'll feel less bloated. You'll feel energetic after a meal, and digestion is great. So I drink a cup with every meal I take in. He recommends to try to get a serving of fatty fish every week. I don't necessarily always get that, but I also do take fish oil, though, to try to help with that. Cranberry juice. Stan recommends taking 4 ounces of cranberry juice twice a day. I take in 4 ounces once a day just because cranberry juice, the real stuff with no added sugar and stuff, is expensive. You can get one at Walmart here for, I think it's like it's like $8. $8 for about a week worth of servings for 4 ounces. That's expensive for pure cranberry juice. So I keep it at 4 ounces. 4 ounces of cranberry juice gives you over 200% of your daily RDA of iodine. So you're good. You're good. And also you take iodized table salt throughout the day. You're good. You don't need to worry about, I don't think, taking 4 ounces twice a day. That's pretty expensive. That real cranberry juice, not from concentrate, real cranberry juice. So let's see, we've gone into carbs, we've gone to white rice. Dairy, he recommends a few servings of dairy every day because dairy binds with calcium and vitamin D in the body. So if you're taking high sodium, he also recommends taking in dairy with that. Sodium is uptaked better into the system with a little dairy taken along with it. It also is easier on the digestion too, especially if you're not used to higher sodium intake. Eggs, he recommends at least 2 eggs a day for choline, omega-3s, and vitamin D and sulfur. But that's the basis of the vertical diet, and all I can say is good things from it. I've done it for 3 months straight, And personally, how I do it, I'm just going to walk you through how I do it. I eat 2 times a day I do eat a little bit pre-workout too. I'll go into that. My first meal though, I eat probably around 12:30. I have 8 ounces of lunch meat, processed lunch meat, but nitrate free. Just because I don't like the research done on nitrates. Nitrates have been shown to be carcinogenic, and I don't want that. So I buy nitrate-free lunch meat. I buy I buy sliced roast beef lunch meat, and I also mix that with sliced ham, just because I like the sodium concentration of that, and it tastes good. It's easy to eat too. What I do is I prep that in some Tupperware. I chop up some avocado in there, throw some cheese in there, and I throw 3 hard-boiled eggs in there, and then I take rice in a. I have rice already pre-made in a cooker that that keeps it warm, so I can dump a thing of white rice in there. White rice also should not be refrigerated. I forgot to mention that. When white rice is refrigerated, there's a couple things that happen. Builds up resistant starches. Resistant starches are not good if you're trying to gain weight. Resistant starches actually decrease the amount of calories you get from the white rice. So if you're trying to lose weight, maybe look into refrigerated rice. I'd still be hesitant though because of the second reason. Because when rice cools, it grows bacteria. It takes in bacteria a lot faster than, say, a potato or a sweet potato. So if you're prepping your meals for the week, I would not recommend pre-cooking white rice and putting it in Tupperwares. For one, it's going to taste nasty as hell. Two, it's not going to be the best thing for you. And resistant starches is not a good thing too, and in an abundance of in the body. That's why Stan does not recommend eating a ton of potatoes, because a ton of potatoes can wreak havoc on the digestive system. White rice, keep it warm. I bought a thing. What is it called? A thermos, a big thermos that has 32 ounces that I can just make a bunch of white rice in it. It keeps it warm for 16 hours. So if I go to work or whatnot, I carry it with me and I have white rice throughout the day. So I dump that in. I have like I said, I put that lunch meat, cheese, and avocado and eggs in there. Then when I'm ready to eat, I dump the rice in there, and I have my chicken stock, and yeah, I'm good. So I do that. That's about 1,500 calories, somewhere in there. And then I go about till I think like 4 o'clock, 4:15, and I have a banana and a Greek yogurt. Also with that first meal, I have an apple and a Greek yogurt too with that for some fructose, some glucose, and some calcium from the Greek yogurt. Later on though, before my workout, I take a banana and a Greek yogurt. I just down 1/4 teaspoon of salt with that to make sure I'm topped up on sodium. I'd rather have more than enough than not enough. When I get to the gym, I drink my pre-workout then. I go to the gym a half hour later. After my workout, I come home. I take in my 4 ounces of cranberry juice, my 4 ounces of orange juice. I then eat dinner, which usually is steak and more rice and 3 more whole eggs. And I throw in some spinach with that. I throw in some carrots with that. And then I have some Greek yogurt mixed in with some protein, with some berries in there, a little bit of cinnamon. And I actually throw some Cheerios in there too. Cheerios are pretty much oatmeal that's dried, and they're they digest well for me. Stan recommends to kind of avoid oat-based products. I've never seen any problem with them, so I just throw in some Cheerios at the end of the day just to get more carbs in there. And that's it. I'll have chicken stock with that last meal, and I'm good. That's about 3,200 calories for me. That's what I've found with this way of doing the vertical diet works for me. Like I said, I get 7 hours of sleep every night. My vitamin D is at 6,000 IU a day right now, and I'm still upping that every month until I notice that it's at a good level. 6,000 is probably good, but can I get more benefits from more? Maybe. I like to experiment like that to see. You don't want to go too high. Hypercalcemia can happen. That's not good. That's when your body is releasing calcium in the bloodstream. That leads to kidney stones. There are signs of that happening before that happens, though. Headaches, itchy skin, random breakouts more than normal, and weakness in the gym can are signs that you're approaching those overdosing limits of vitamin D3. If you're noticing any of that, I would drop down. Also, if you're going to drop down a vitamin D, this is something I learned earlier on, was that say, for example, you're taking 4,000 IU a day and you notice those side effects. So you decide to drop it to 2,000. The problem with that is vitamin D3 is released slowly in the blood. So that next day you only drop it to 2,000, your body is still releasing that 4,000 IU on top of that 2,000 you just took. So if you are noticing side effects of overdosing on vitamin D, this is what I recommend. Going a whole week without taking vitamin D before going back to a normal dosage. Okay, let me repeat that. If you notice vitamin D overtake, say 4,000 IU, stop taking vitamin D for a week and then add it back in, slowly. Reason because it's released slowly in the bloodstream, unlike vitamin B, which is released immediately. So, there you go. Yeah, I think that about covers it. I don't know how many people are watching. I'm going to post this on my feed. I'm going to post it on my YouTube. If there's any Q&A, if there's any questions that are from the people watching right now, post them. I'll answer them real quick. And if not, in the next 30 seconds I get a question, I guess we'll end it there. Like I said, I'm going to do these kind of talks, nutrition talks, bring up random topics maybe once a week. I feel that it benefits a lot of people. So, and plus, like I said, I'm trying to get back into the fitness game of being in social media. I have taken a break from social media for a long time, and people thought I fell off the planet. I'm trying to come back slowly. So yeah, hit me up with your questions if you got any. If not, we'll be seeing you soon. Any questions at all? Any questions on the vertical diet by Stan Efferding? Any questions, concerns, comments? Nothing? All right. Well, also one more thing. Stan recommends for training, I'm just going to go over this real quick. Stan recommends for training to base it in like a type of circuit fashion or a superset fashion. I actually don't train like that. I have recently, within the past 6 months, just switched to working each body part once a week pretty much. Monday is chest day, Tuesday leg day. I've seen great benefits from that with the vertical diet. So that's just my little input there, that you don't have to train the way Stan says. His is just a recommendation. It's not the rule. So, all right, if there's no questions, then we will see you guys next time I do this. Feel free to message me. I'll always respond to messages, no matter when they come in. I always respond. You can email me, fozzy14@gmail.com, and we'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed.